Have you ever woken up, looked in the mirror, and wondered what you are doing wrong? You are putting in the hours, grinding, reading the self-help books, and white-knuckling your way through discipline. Maybe you are even praying or meditating with total sincerity. Yet, deep down, you feel like you are running on a treadmill. You are burning calories, sweating, and moving your legs, but your actual position hasn't shifted an inch. There is a hollow space in your soul that no achievement or compliment seems to fill. You blame yourself, assuming you just need more willpower, more focus, or more faith. But what if your mistake isn't a lack of effort? What if the real problem is that you are exhausted from fighting the wrong battle? Today, we are going to uncover an ancient key that has the power to flip the script on your entire life and lift the weight off your shoulders. This entire shift hinges on one word, a concept that completely upends how we think about growth and peace: abide. In the 15th chapter of the Gospel of John, Jesus delivers a radical message. It completely shatters the world's hustle-first mentality on how to gain strength and tranquility. Most of us operate like a smartphone battery. We run, we drain, we frantically look for a charger, and then we repeat the cycle of exhaustion. But there is another way to live, a state of being where you experience lasting peace without the frantic forcing, without spiritual burnout, and without the agony of trying to fix yourself. This is the secret of the vine and the branches. It is a timeless truth that proves your blind effort might actually be the biggest obstacle to your breakthrough. To understand this secret, picture two people chasing the exact same goal: a meaningful, joyful life. The first person is the striver. This is society's poster child. They wake up at 5 a.m., write in their gratitude journal, check off their to-do list, and attack the day with ironclad willpower. They force themselves to be perfect, to be kind, and to be successful. But if you look closely into their eyes, you see a deep, bone-weary exhaustion. They live in constant fear that if they stop pushing for even a second, their entire life will come crashing down. To them, faith and self-improvement are just endless to-do lists, a suffocating mountain of obligations. Now look at the second person, the abider. Their life isn't a perfect fairy tale. They face the exact same storms, bills, demanding bosses, and relationship crises as everyone else. Yet, the way they navigate the chaos is entirely different. They move with a steady, quiet calmness. They don't panic, and they don't burn out. If you ask them for their secret, they won't give you a list of time management hacks or productivity routines. They will simply smile and tell you that the difference isn't how fast they are running, but who they are rooted in. One is trying to generate power by their own strength, while the other is simply plugged into the socket. The ultimate difference isn't effort, it is connection. Before we dissect the word abide, we need to go back in time to the exact moment these words were spoken. This was not a casual sermon delivered on a sunny Sunday afternoon. Picture a dark upper room, shadows stretching across the walls, thick tension in the air, and a countdown clock ticking away. Jesus knows that in just a few hours, the betrayal will happen, he will be arrested, and he will leave his disciples to face a brutal world that wants to break them. If you only had a few precious hours left with the people you love most before facing death, what would you say? You wouldn't waste time on small talk. You would give them the master key. Notice carefully what he did not say. He did not give them a 10-step strategic plan to change the world. He did not tell them to hustle for the kingdom, build massive systems, or grind to become holy. Instead, he looked them in the eye and gave a single, urgent command: abide in me. To explain this, he used an illustration so simple a child could grasp it, yet so deep a philosopher could spend a lifetime mastering it. I am the vine, you are the branches. Let's strip away the religious jargon and look at the raw mechanics of this image. The vine is the source. It holds the water, the nutrients, and the entire life force. The branch is you. You are the extension of the tree. The fruit is the natural byproduct, the peace, joy, and character that grow in your life. Now, here is a truth that can liberate you from pressure today. A branch never struggles to produce a grape. Have you ever seen a branch grunting, straining, or sweating to grow fruit? Have you ever seen a branch stressed out, worrying if it is doing enough to make the harvest on time? Of course not. The branch doesn't create life, it simply receives it. The branch has only one job: stay connected to the vine. If that connection is solid, fruit is inevitable. If you are finding it painfully hard to be good, peaceful, or kind, it is a sign that you have stopped being a branch and are trying to be the vine. The word abide sounds poetic, but in the original Greek language, the word is meno, which means to remain, to stay, to dwell, or to not depart. To visualize this, think about the difference between a tourist and a resident. A tourist books a room, visits for the weekend, snaps a few photos, enjoys the atmosphere, and then packs their bags to go home. Sadly, this is exactly how most of us treat our relationship with the divine. We treat God like a tourist destination. We check in on Sunday morning, or we run there when life hits a crisis and we desperately need a miracle to pass a test or pay a bill. But a branch cannot take a vacation from the vine. If a branch leaves the vine on Monday and plans to return on Sunday, it will wither and die within hours. Abiding is not a performance, it is a placement. It means you don't pack your bags and leave the moment your prayer time is over. It is not a transaction where you do favors for God so He will bless you in return. Abiding means dwelling. It means bringing that presence into your morning commute, into your stressful meetings, into your lunch break, and into your rest. The pressure is entirely off. You don't have to run a marathon to reach Him, you just have to stop leaving Him. Think about the smartphone in your hand. The exact moment you unplug it from the wall, the phone doesn't immediately shut down. It looks perfectly fine. The screen is bright, the apps are fast, and you can scroll, text, or watch videos without a problem. But an undeniable truth remains. The countdown to the battery's death has officially begun. It is silently draining, percentage by percentage. This is a vivid picture of how millions of people live today. They aren't bad people, they haven't abandoned their faith, and they aren't committing crimes. They have just unplugged. They are trying to handle today's stress, tomorrow's worries, and next year's goals on a 12% charge left over from yesterday. Then they wonder why they are irritable, why anxiety rules their mind, and why a terrifying sense of emptiness hits them even after hitting their career goals. The answer is simple. You are trying to operate a device using a power source it is no longer connected to. A phone doesn't have to try hard to get electricity, it just has to sit on the charger. If you feel like you are running on fumes, it is time to stop trying to optimize your apps and just plug the cord back in. When you disconnect from the source, your soul will not remain silent. It will constantly flash warning lights, just like the dashboard of a car. When the low fuel light comes on, you don't get mad at the light or tape over it to hide it. You immediately understand it is time to pull into a gas station. If you have been experiencing these 4 feelings lately, please do not think you are a failure. These are just the warning lights of your soul telling you that you are running on empty, drained. You wake up in the morning with a heavy tiredness, even after 8 hours of sleep. You are exhausted before the day even begins. Anxious. You live in a constant state of hypervigilance, feeling like the entire world, your family's safety, and your career success depends solely on your ability to hold everything together. Empty. You are hitting your milestones, getting promotions, and making money, but none of it tastes like success anymore. It feels completely hollow. Striving. You find yourself working longer hours, putting in double the effort, and grinding harder, but you are losing ground, like sinking in quicksand. Hear this clearly. Those negative feelings are not a punishment. They are the loving reminders of your soul saying, "You were never built to carry this life alone." The pressure suffocating you right now is the result of trying to be the vine when your only job is to be a branch. You don't need a better business strategy or a better time management app. You just need to come back home. This is the exact point where most of us take a wrong turn. When we notice our lives are messy, whether it is an uncontrollable temper, chronic anxiety, or a lack of purpose, our instinct is to switch into management mode. We tell ourselves that we need to be more disciplined, read more books, grit our teeth, and use willpower to crush our flaws. But look closely at John 15. Not once does Jesus tell the branch to try harder. He never says, "Exert more energy to push out a grape." Instead, he says something our pride hates to hear: "Apart from me, you can do nothing." He doesn't say you will be slightly less effective without him, or that you will face a few speed bumps. He says nothing. A flat zero. Trying to live a peaceful, loving, and righteous life through sheer willpower without abiding is exactly like taking a rag and furiously polishing a light bulb while it is unplugged from the wall. You can rub that glass until your hands bleed, and the bulb might look clean, but it will never emit a single ray of light. The growth and peace you are looking for are not rewards for the sweat of your struggle. They are the natural byproducts of surrender. To practice abiding, you do not need to quit your job, move to a monastery, or climb a secluded mountain. All you need to do is learn to flip these 3 internal switches throughout the normal, hectic flow of your day. Most of us spend 24 hours a day reacting. We react to a passive-aggressive email from a client, a rude comment from a coworker, or a negative headline on the news. When we react instinctively, we drain the final drops of our empty battery. To flip this switch, pause for 3 seconds before you react. Instead of letting the noise of the world dictate your mood, choose a timeless truth to anchor your mind. Repeat this mantra: I am not what this stress says I am. I am who my Creator says I am. This is how you reclaim control of your mind. Many people think prayer or meditation is a formal meeting that requires a quiet room, closed eyes, and a scheduled block of time. But a branch doesn't schedule a meeting with the vine. It stays there. Shift your mindset from long-distance prayer to constant connection. Talk to him like a close friend who is sitting right next to you while you wash dishes, drive through traffic, or sit in a tense meeting. Use short, breath prayers. Just 3 or 4 words whispered in your mind along with a deep breath to remind yourself that He is right there. Obedience to spiritual values is not a game where you score points to keep God happy or avoid punishment. The true purpose of obedience is keeping the pipeline clear. Every time you choose a higher value, choosing forgiveness over revenge, or honesty over a lie, you aren't earning brownie points. You are simply clearing out the debris and blockages that stop the life force from flowing from the vine into your branch. View obedience as a shield of protection, not a fence restricting your freedom. When your life aligns with the source, the power flows naturally without resistance. The moment you decide to drop the heavy weights of striving and step into true abiding, your life will begin to shift. This is not a magic trick that happens overnight. It is an inevitable process of spiritual biology. Think about a healthy apple tree. You never have to stand in front of it and yell, "Produce apples." Try harder. The tree automatically grows crisp, beautiful fruit because it is deeply rooted and well nourished by the earth. When you connect to the right source, your character stops being a stressful project and becomes a natural product. Peace is no longer a goal to chase. You stop forcing yourself to look calm. You actually feel a deep river of peace that defies human logic, even when everything around you is chaotic. Joy is no longer a hunt. You stop chasing temporary highs and cheap thrills to cover up your loneliness. Instead, a resilient, steady joy bubbles up from within, lighting up your darkest days. Strength is no longer a strain. You will find yourself walking right through trials and heartbreak that would have shattered you in the past. You aren't doing it because your willpower got stronger, but because the vine is pumping its infinite energy through you. You are no longer a factory worker trying to hit a production quota. You are a branch, and the very life of God is flowing through your veins. The Christian life was never meant to be a grueling test to see how much pressure you can tolerate or how many heavy weights you can lift. It is a vibrant, organic connection with the one who holds the entire universe in his hands. It is time to end the exhausting cycle of using your own willpower to force yourself into a better person. The secret to a beautiful life does not live in your striving. It lives in your abiding. It doesn't depend on your limited power. It depends on His infinite source. It doesn't ask you to do more. It simply asks you to stay close. If you are tired of being tired, stop trying to fix the branch. Do the one thing that matters. Return to the vine. The moment you surrender, drop your hands, and stop trying to carry it all yourself is the exact moment everything finally begins to change. The next time that familiar heaviness creeps back, when your soul flashes red, and you feel surrounded by emptiness, remember this: do not try harder. Do not run back to the hamster wheel of striving. Instead, use that feeling as a signal to pause, take a deep breath, and reconnect. Everything you are exhausting yourself to find lasting peace, unshakable strength, and authentic joy is waiting for you in a quiet place. It doesn't come from your hustle. It comes from your home. Stop trying and start abiding.